Well folks, welcome back to the channel. Very quick video. I meant to do this a long time ago about battery replacement. You might find if your stop-start technology is not working in the car, it might have thrown up some errors. There's a very good chance that if your battery is more than say 2 years old or thereabouts, that it's on the way out. This is a DIY replacement specifically on the Alfa Romeo Giulia. This one happens to be a quadrifoglio. It's a 2017 car, and I had issues with a starting and stopping. Turned out to be a relay in the fact, but the first port of call should always be to change the battery. The battery that came in these cars from the factory was a standard lead acid battery. There are a couple of types of other batteries specifically dedicated to start-stop technology. There's an EFB battery, which is kind of a modification on the lead acid battery, which is specifically designed for start-stop, and there is an AGM, an absorbent glass mat battery as well, which is really good for multiple start-stops and is really robust. So tools for today: 10mm spanner or little socket. You'll need a Phillips head screwdriver, and you need a pair of socks. We'll get to that in a second. So before you work on any cars, really important that if you don't know what you're doing really, even with the guide, don't take the risk, because if you short out something, if you mess around, you could really just total the car. You could end up damaging the ECUs or the electronics in there. So really important. First thing you want to do is unlock the car. Put the driver's window down, and then that's where the socks come in. So before you've disconnected anything, open up the boot and stick your pair of socks in the closing mechanism. It just means, should the wind catch it for whatever reason, that the trunk lid won't actually close and leave you stranded. So the battery in the Giulia is just in here. Open up these two little tabs and you'll find it. You'll find, hopefully you can see a lot of this, there's a cover on the positive terminal. There's a couple of little clips in here. You want to pull those, open that up, and just leave that to the side. In here is the negative terminal, and kind of with an action like that, you want to reach in, pull off the terminal. There it is. So there's the little release there for it, and just leave that well to the side. In here, I'll take another photograph. You'll see a little red tag. Get your screwdriver and you don't need to completely remove the screws, but you'll want to certainly undo them, and make sure that whilst you're messing with the positive terminal that you don't hit any of the side of the bodywork of the car. And because we've isolated the negative terminal, it should be safe enough to work. So I've loosened tag on this as much as I dare. I don't want to lose any of the screws. There it is. So that's what you're effectively removing. It sits into the battery where the two little plugs are, and that just holds this in place. Now what we're going to do is we're going to reach into the back and we're going to remove this lever. Push it away from you towards the edge of the car, and you'll find that the whole positive terminal just lifts straight off. Leave it to the side. Now we need to get into 10mm spanner in here to the negative terminal, undo the negative. Now there is another little connection still made here. Just all means that your memory for your clock and all the rest of it still has a pathway here. So there you go, that's the negative terminal. There's no need to do anything more in here. Loosen this strap. You put the strap to the far side so that you're not going to set the battery on. And then the battery itself is locked in by a little screw. You've got to remove the breather in here. It's just a little, I suppose, an overrun or an outlet for any of the gases and possibly liquids as it expands due to the heat. And you get into there and remove, and that's all that's holding your battery in, along with the secondary strap. So set that to the side, keep all your tools nice and tidy, and we're ready to pull it out now. It's a bit, batteries are heavy things. You can really do your back in. Two handles in the center, and we're just basically looking to pull out the battery and get it removed from the car. If it snags on anything, don't just keep pulling it. You might find it's actually something important. So there you go. Snagged on a wiring loop. And that's the battery out. So the dog's very interested in this. This is the original Alfa battery. It happens to be a Varta battery. I have replaced it with a Varta before in a previous time. That was a couple of years ago. Now it's time to get into the this one. Just happens to be a Lucas. It's an EFP battery, about 150 pounds or thereabouts. The Varta glass mat batteries that would have replaced this are quite considerably more, probably in the region of 200, 250 pounds plus. But this one is good enough for now. It's in date and it's fully charged. I can see a little green ball down in here. So obviously plus and minus, get it in, put it in exactly the same way as you took the other one out. You will find though, if the terminals are reversed, you'll never be able to fit it. And these are the two little holes that we said that plugged in nicely. So I know the positive goes to the forward side of the car. These terminals go to the outside. So I'm going to lift it like that and get it in. So this can be a little bit of a wrestle. Just make sure that you've got everything here out of the way, because you don't want to stretch anything, you don't want to catch anything, and you certainly don't want to damage the wires internally. So we've got the little strap thing. It's off to the side. I know the positive is towards the front of the car, the negative to the rear. In, lift within your stance and all that. Manage your back, and hopefully you can wrestle this into position. So once you get it in through the hatch, it's heavy, heavy, heavy. If you can, get someone to help you, but you know what, it's tight, it's tight. Push it all the way to the forward end and it should lock into little tabs in there. Just make sure that you've still got, yeah, it's sitting on it. Make sure that we've got the strap and there are no wires caught. First thing we want to do is lock it in place. If you're struggling to find your way through down in the holes, good when the battery is out to have a little look, see where the holes are. Sometimes batteries are slightly different sizes and you'll see a multitude of holes there, but if the battery's right up to the stops at the front, you should be able to reach down. It goes in this direction. This bit sits over the lip of the battery to hold it into position. This hits the floor and it clamps itself down onto the battery so it doesn't move. Probably easier to sit, reach in and fiddle my way around, get it started first of all, finger tight, and in with the 10mm, of course, remembering to reverse the ratchet. So it doesn't need to be super tight, but it just needs to be nipped up enough so that it's not going to go anywhere. What we next need to do is fit the strap. It goes over the top here, in through the rearmost bits of the hold, little center tab at the front, and there we have it. Now for the positive terminal, make sure the clamp is undone. Put it onto the positive terminal, like so, but don't actually clamp it up yet. You've got to put this little red lock in. It goes into the two little holes that are on top of the battery and it just stabilizes it. So you need a little bit of movement to be able to get it in. Push it down in till it locks. Get your Phillips, tighten them both up, not over tight because they're just plastic. And then finally, do up the clasp. So that's the positive side of things. You can now take the cover, put it on, kind of jiggle it about a little bit till you find where it seats. It'll obviously go in on the back initially and then lock in on the front. There it is, into the tabs. And now we've got to get the negative terminal on. Now it goes in like that so you can get your little 10mm on there. Tight enough, but not too tight. No need to overdo it. We pop the negative terminal and it just pops straight on and should clip in. So we have to make sure that everything is secure, including that negative terminal. And finally, don't forget to put on the little vent tube. And that is it. Back into the car then and reset the system. Put the battery cover back on, leave the sock in there, take your tools with you. Now we're into the car. So inside the car there's a bit of reset, of course. You've just disconnected the battery. You might find that some of your presets in the car itself haven't done, and the one-touch windows you may well find need to be reset perhaps as well. So first time we turn this on, you should get a whole plethora of warnings. And the way to resolve it is by turning the steering wheel from lock to lock just a few times, turn the car off and restart it again. So there we go, there's the normal startup. There's the Alfa screen. There you go, we've got AST, we've got ESC, we've got hill hold control, service ATV system, lane departure warning unavailable, have power steering checked. So what we're going to do is put the foot on the brake, we're going to start the car, service dampers, there's some more. So all I'm just going to do is turn the wheel lock to lock. Turn the car off. I'm going to restart it again. And there we go, they're all gone. So here I am many months later in Austin, Texas of all places, doing the final edit. I realized I didn't do an outro. So really it's just about removing your socks from the back, closing up, possibly resetting the windows and maybe presets for the radio, etc, etc. But I found in that particular case I didn't have to do anything. All the one touch for the windows worked fine. If you want to say a super thanks, there it is down below. Buy me a coffee if it's helped you out. And don't forget the merch. There's the portfolio. It doesn't have to be as bright as this. There's mugs and caps and backroadhero gear and all the rest of it in the shop, or go to the website backroadhero.com. Until the next time, all the best now. Bye bye.